Hello and welcome. I'm so glad that you could join with me today. Yuletide blessings to you. Happy solstice, our 12 days of Merry Witchmas. And if you do not celebrate, I am still so glad to share this day with you. All of my readings are infused with Reiki and other healing modalities as well as life coaching, but not all readings will resonate with all people at all times. So if you're looking for personal guidance, please feel free to reach out. I'm happy to do so. I do so on a donation basis, and no one is under any obligation to donate beyond their means. So please, if you feel like you're a little bit isolated, if you're struggling through this season, just let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and I will always exchange kind words with you. Let's see what messages have the cards sharing with us today. Oh, some really amazing stuff here. We've got our Emperor here. Now, our Emperor energy that in some situations I'm feeling there's a very strong connection to our patriarchal um, energy in family. There may be some wisdom imparted from that area. Um, but for a majority of us, it feels very strongly that Spirit is saying to us, you have become the stability, the rock in so many people's lives. You have become this pillar of wisdom. You are the person that they know that they can rely on. You are the person that is consistent and fair and offers the diplomacy. You're the person that's called to mediate. You're the person that is called to enforce boundaries and when people feel that they're not strong enough to do so. And in so many ways, you have just embodied this very, very um, noble and dignified position within your circle. And this is such a powerful role to hold. It can be almost a little bit overwhelming at times because there's such a tremendous amount of loss at stake as well. There's constant pressure. We're reminded with these lofty uh, responsibilities to others that we also have to be able to sway with the wind. We don't want to be so rigid that it can easily be broken. We want to remain flexible. We want to remain connected and grounded with those around us. We want to continually be able to listen to the smallest whispers. We want to be able to share the kind of relevant um, feelings and consistent and reliable guidance and advice and love uh, and respect and honor those who come before us that we grow from. We don't want to allow this power or this energy to uh, disconnect us from not only our Empress energy, but from the nutrients that help us grow. Uh, and while this is in our mind, we come to this world card. There are so many aspects to happiness, and you have just done a tremendous amount of work in recognizing these individual little glimmers of joy in your life. You have started to recognize that there are major components to it, but there are also very tiny little pieces that hold it all together, the little working glue. And it is from this wisdom that we've been able to really hone our life into something that feels a lot more consistent. It feels a lot more stable. It feels a lot more flowing. The stagnancy only occurs if we were to stop trying to do the work that we are now naturally doing on a daily basis. there's so much potential here too. I feel just very strongly for many of you that as we head into January, there's just a big change occurring for you. Um, some of you, your finances have become a lot more stable or will become more stable. Please share with us if there's good news that you've received. But I'm feeling a lot of good news being received in January for many of you, or it's coming up, or it just has happened to you. But um, all of that effort in manifesting the beautiful life that you've desired is starting to come to fruition in all these little tiny ways. And it's with that gratitude and with that acceptance and welcoming energy that more and more is being brought to you. As we embark on this journey, we want to also remember that while we have done the preparation and we are sure to win, and this win feels so solid and so consistent and so assured for us, that we don't want to put on another type of armor that's going to weigh us down. We don't want to lose sight of the real important things that we initially began this journey for. The journey was ultimately about your happiness, your healing, your consistency and stability, and being reliant upon yourself and no one else, to feeling good. You knew that it was your responsibility to get in touch with what hurt you so that you could dismantle all that armor. So as we go into these new, very solid, stable pieces of life, we don't need to change that. We don't need to start devoting our energy to something that isn't going to uh, add anything greater to it. You've already done that. You've already gotten to it, and you're already winning. So you don't need to change now what you're doing. We don't want to shift anything out of balance. We want to remain flexible. We want to be able to flow with things. We want to be able to remember that ultimately the reason that we started on this journey was for that healing, for our own happiness. So even when these new changes come into our life, as exciting as they will be, there's going to be this almost overwhelming energy that it's a pattern or a habit that we used to have, where something would start to happen. Say you get a new job, and you spent so much time seeking balance and healing and manifesting this job, and then you get into the job and you start putting too much into the job. The job starts affecting your feelings. The job starts all of a sudden being like the basis of everything. And so this is reminding us that it's you that brought the job to you. It's you that brought the relationship to you. It's you that brought the family connections to you, the friendship connections to you. By being in balance, by remaining stable, by focusing on your healing and what made you happy. So you don't want to change that to win this race, to get to the finish line. Instead, remain light, remain adaptable, remain having a good time as you do this. Remember to manage the balance that we're seeking, because that was ultimately what led to our healing. And so we want to stay on track with that in order to continue to bring all of these pieces, these very important pieces, into our lives. And these are the things that keep our world turning. We need to drive that first message home a little bit more, Spirit says. So I pull 3 cards from 2 different decks that continue on this same message. First of all, abundance. We are abundant in so many things. It's not just finances. And while we are going to be celebrating these new wonderful changes in our life, whether it is with an abundance of resources or an abundance of celebration with people that we love, an abundance of feeling secure and safe, feeling as though we can be generous with not only spirit, but with everything else that we have in our lives to be grateful for. We're generous with our gratitude. We're generous with our compassion. And it's these things that we continue to share that help keep us in balance and help keep us in alignment. Focusing on lack brings more lack. We focus too much on the things that we struggle with, and we find that these are the things that we consistently have to experience. But when we focus on our gratitude and we focus on feeling light and we focus on feeling wonderful and free, and we focus on how good it feels to have things handled and taken care of, we discover that there is even more things to celebrate in our life. We have the brown bear spirit. It says, take time out. This is a perfect opportunity for us to spend some time being in tune with the self, being in tune with our own personal needs. Abundance is about relaxing and letting go so that this brown bear spirit can sit back and breathe and rejuvenate and recuperate and prepare for periods where we do have more energy to exert, and when there's harder times and things become a little bit leaner, or when things get challenging and rocky, we have the reserve strength here to deal with that with ease. We can remember these abundant times with ease, and it helps bring us back to center. It helps us stay in alignment. It helps provide that balance that we've needed. So I'm getting also that we have maybe some uncertainty about how things are going to actually pan out. You feel very confidently like they're gonna, but you don't necessarily know where it's going to go. You just know that it's going in the right direction. It feels good. Feels okay to me. There's always a plan, and the plan is not necessarily advisable to be obsessed with, because as we talked about in that last reading with the emperor, sometimes we have to be flexible in the wind. Spirit likes to surprise us. I genuinely believe that the universe is full of surprises to catch us off guard, to continue to allow us to experience that wonder and excitement and joy at how things transpire. If we have too much of these details locked in before it arrives, we have this tendency to be focused on those details. And then when it arrives, we're just like, yeah, there it is. We don't have that sense of excitement and gratitude the same way as if we trust the process and let go and say, I don't know, it just feels right. It doesn't look the way that we always think it's going to look. You may be so tremendously focused on a particular love interest or on a partner that you're with right now, but you've been doing the work and you've been practicing abundance and gratitude, and you've been taking time to reflect and take care of yourself and work on your healing. And then some surprising thing takes place, and we end up in a different place than we expected, but it feels better. Feels like exactly what we thought it was going to feel like, but somehow better. The universe loves to surprise us, especially when we've put all that work in, especially when we've done what needs to be done and we've let go and we've given in to allow it to come to us. When we've given to that receiving mode, when we've just said, I know what I want, I know what it feels like, but what it could look like can vary so drastically. Like, you need a new car and you've been manifesting a new car. And as things have been going, things are falling into place. Credit score went up, got that promotion or that raise, everything. And then you start thinking about the new car and you're like feeling the new car. You can feel it. It's so close. You're feeling the new car. You know that it's right there in that moment. And then all of a sudden an opportunity is presented to you for a very great deal on a car, and it's not the color that you thought it was going to be. Are you going to say no? I don't want that. Well, I only wanted a black SUV, and you get a gray, a silver SUV. Does that detail change how you feel about it? No, it doesn't matter, does it? Now, that's not to say that spirit doesn't also grant us these absolute perfect opportunities that do look like we had hoped that they would look. It was that you were willing to let go of the details. You knew it was going to feel really good to have that new car. And you were like, Spirit's doing it. I can feel it. It's going, it's going. I know it's going to come. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. And then when it does arrive, you know it's arrived. There's no question about it. So you don't nitpick the details, right? That doesn't matter. We just trust that Spirit has that plan for us, that it's coming for us, that it's in the works, it's in alignment, and you're ready to be surprised. You're ready to walk in the door. I had no idea it was going to be this great. Because if we spend too much time picking apart exactly how it has to be and exactly how it has to happen, we're not leaving room for the surprises and the miracles. We're not leaving room for the universe to show us that true abundance really that really exists. We want to give it the opportunity. So take that time, breathe deeply, rest, just give it space, trust it, allow it to occur for you. Don't hold on too tightly, just know that it's happening. Just know that it's happening. Hold that joy in your heart and be ready to be wowed. Be ready to say thank you for the most amazing experience that you're about to embark upon. It's going to get better than anything else that you could even envision, because Spirit can do that. If you will find yourself struggling and you're having some difficulties right now and you're not quite resonating with those other videos, this is the one for you. So what we have here, cracked open, we are surrendering to the alchemy of life because we have really feel like we're hitting rock bottom. Can't possibly get any worse. It can only go up from here, right? Spirit wants us to address this issue, this judgment. I understand that everyone has their own unique paths and challenges. Earlier today, I was holding some resentment for someone who had been welcomed into a situation that I had been rejected from. And I wanted to share with them, you have no idea what you're about to get into. You don't really know. I was just ready to share that. And something told me, you don't know what that person's coming from. To them, the situation that they're about to get into is a huge improvement from where they come from. They feel very differently about that situation because the path that they have been on, the challenges that they have encountered that I don't know anything about, have led them to that situation so that they can help heal and grow. Now, for me, it was a realization that occurred in that situation, and leaving that situation is what helped me heal and grow. But for them, I don't know where they're coming from. I don't know what that situation is. And I can only allow myself to consider that it's not for me to tell them how to feel. There's nothing that I can warn them about. Their experiences are not going to be the same as mine. We're not the same people. We haven't come from the same place. Not only that, but they've been accepted into it today, whereas I had been rejected from it some time ago. My place where I am now is very different from possibly where they will be years from now. They may end up in the same space as I am in today. They may come to me in the future and say, "Oh my God, I understand what you were saying now. I understand how you felt, rather." I didn't speak on it. But I cannot possibly know where they're coming from. All I have to understand is that the path that they're on is their path. And they are going to experience that path in the way that is right for them. And if at some point down the road I find that they are in the same place that I'm in now, then we can share that down the road. But I don't know enough about another person's situation or feelings to be able to have an opinion about their actions and their choices today. I can only worry about my own. I can only know that where I was not in a good place. Now I'm in a better place. And here's all the reasons why. That's my journey. And my journey is valid, and my journey is my journey. And I own it. And I know where I was, and I know where I am today. I cannot say that about another person. And it would be wrong for me to try to do so. So I have to allow them that grace and that space to experience it for themselves and recognize that they may not have the same experience I had. And that doesn't mean that they're less deserving of my respect. That doesn't mean that they're not worthy of love. That doesn't mean that they're not worthy of the love of the people that didn't give love to me. They're worthy of that. In fact, whatever they can get out of them, take it. Because at least somebody will, right? I want to celebrate for them. I want them to be in a better place than I was. And at the very least, I want to honor where they're at right now because it may have been a much harder place before they reached this place. I can't imagine what that might be like. And that's kind of the point. I'm not supposed to. I'm not supposed to know that. That's not my journey. I need to focus on my journey. And for some people, they had prayed for this day. You may have been praying for this day to be warm and feel welcome and accepted. And I have no business trying to take that from her. None. I want her to have that. I want her to have that experience. And I hope that it is genuine and authentic and it is lasting for her. And if it's not lasting, I hope that she is able to remember that she will not be alone if she leaves it and that I'll still be here for her because I still genuinely want something good for her. I don't even know her that well. And that's, I think, even more the point. That's more the point because I know nothing about her journey. I think it's important for me to want good for other people because when I put that energy out into the universe, I see it back. So power over difficulty, reclaiming your power. In this situation, it is not our place to focus on the problems. It is instead about focusing on what we have personally gained, what I have personally experienced. The way that I personally feel today is the result of me being able to own, being willing to sacrifice, being willing to take my power back and keep it. Keep it as mine. And when I have these opinions of other people and what's going on in their lives, I am not keeping my power. I'm giving it away. If I want to reclaim my power, if I want to hold on to my power, if I want my power over my challenges to be used in my life, I can't have opinions about other people's lives. You just can't. You can't worry about what they're dealing with. And really, wishing them well and hoping that they have wonderful experiences is the energy that you want to be putting out in there, because that's what cuts them cords. That's what frees you, and that's what releases you. Somebody was out there wishing that for you, that you were able to be free, that you were able to cut those cords. And when you did so, you were able to own your life and your feelings, and you were able to separate yourself from these experiences, and you were able to create your own experiences that gave you joy, that made you feel strong and in control again. And that is what made me powerful. That's what gave me what I needed. I want that for everyone. And in order for me to keep my power and to also remain in this state where I can want that for others, I got to keep that judgment under check. I don't know what other people are going through, but I do remember what it was like to be in a much more challenging place. And I remember what it was like to have to trust spirit with my future and say, I don't know what's out there for me, but I know that this isn't for me anymore. And I remember how hard that was. And so rather than me having opinions and thinking that I'm better off, so therefore they must be better off. Instead, I'm keeping my mindset of, I want what's right for everyone on their own journey, because I wanted that for my journey. My journey didn't match other people's. So I have to recognize that for others as well. And it's a tough space to be in, but I had to humble myself today. And so if you find yourself struggling with your situation and comparing yourselves to other people, remember that you're giving your power to the situation, to these other people, by expending that judgment, expending all of that energy and that thought process. Instead, bring it back into the things that you appreciate and you love about your life, and things that you celebrate, and the things that you wished for and wanted for, because you have them now. And thank Spirit for the opportunity for more. It's been wonderful chatting with you today. Thank you so much for joining with me. I hope you have heard these messages from Spirit. Please leave a comment. Thank you so much for sharing them. Until next time.